Going to get going. I'm calling to order the Town Council meeting on July 28th, 2026. Will you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, will the town clerk please take roll?
Councilmember Mortellaro.
Here.
Councilmember O'Connor.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Bell. Councilmember Hoback.
Here.
Councilmember Passamorelli.
Present.
Councilmember Bear.
Present.
Mayor Moore.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
All right, thank you. We'll see if I have a motion to approve the agenda tonight.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. All right, we have an agenda. We have many consent agenda items tonight. Just so you know, I'm going through items A through U. So it'll be a moment here as I get through these. All right, the first one is approval of the June 16th, 2026 Town Council Special Meeting Minutes. A resolution approving a third amendment to the agreement for professional services with Formworks Design Group LLC for the Schofield Farm Historic Building Rehabilitation Project. A resolution approving an agreement for services with Colorado Barricade Company for the 2026 street striping services. A resolution approving an amendment to the construction contract with the JOC Construction for the construction of the Erie Makerspace. A resolution approving revisions to the intergovernmental agreement between the Town of Erie and St. Vrain Valley for a joint school resource officer program. A resolution approving the First Amendment to the agreement for design and construction of drainage and flood control improvement for Prince Lake Tributary at 111th and Arapahoe Road with the Urban Drainage and Flood Control DBA Mile High Flood District. A resolution approving an agreement for professional services with JMT for the wastewater strategic plan update. A resolution authorizing the town manager to file a land use application on behalf of the town council for the town-owned property at 1025 Weld County Road 1.5. A resolution authorizing the town manager to file a land use application on behalf of the town council for the town-owned property at 450 Power Street. A resolution authorizing a revocable license agreement for Team First Chair LLC, DBA Lucille's Creole Cafe, 554 Briggs Street. A resolution authorizing a revocable license agreement for Echo Brewing and Cask and Barrel, DBA Echo Brewing, 600 Briggs Street. A resolution approving an agreement for professional services with Ayers Associates for the on-call transportation planning, traffic engineering, complete street design, and related consulting services. A resolution approving an agreement for professional services with DJ&A LLC for on-call transportation planning, traffic engineering, complete street design, and related consulting services. A resolution approving an agreement for professional services with Felsberg, Holt, and Ulvig Incorporated for on-call transportation planning and traffic engineering, complete street design, and related consulting services. A resolution approving an agreement for professional services with Iron Stride Solutions, PC for on-call transportation planning, traffic engineering, complete street design, and related consulting services. A resolution approving an agreement for professional services with Fox Tuttle Transportation Group LLC for on-call transportation planning, traffic engineering, complete street design, and related consulting services. A resolution approving an agreement for professional services with Lighthouse Transportation Group LLC for on-call transportation planning, traffic engineering, complete street design, and related consulting services. You guys are seeing a trend here, right? A resolution approving an agreement for professional services with Rock Soul Consulting Group for on-call transportation planning, traffic engineering, complete street design, and related consulting services. A resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Erie approving an agreement for professional services with Stan Tech Consulting Services for on-call transportation planning, traffic engineering, complete street design, and related consulting services. A resolution approving an agreement for professional services with WSB LLC for on-call transportation planning, traffic engineering, complete street design, and related consulting services. And last, a resolution approving a second amendment to the construction manager at-risk contract with ECI Site Construction Management Incorporated for the Schofield Farm Site Improvements Project. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. We'll go right into public comment tonight. Public comment is just a reminder, the public comment is not an interactive question and answer forum, but rather a time for you to state your comments on a particular item or issue. Public comment provides the opportunity to discuss items that are not public hearings. Please sign up using the kiosk in the library. I said this last time too. We need to put a library out there in the lobby. If you have a handout, please give it to the town clerk to my right, your left. They will distribute it to the council and include it into the meeting record. When called upon, please state your full name and location for the record. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per person. You'll be given 20-second warning when your 3 minutes are almost up. At your 3-minute mark, you will be asked to wrap up your final sentence. All opinions matter and are welcome. To ensure everyone feels welcome to share their comments, it's imperative that we respect the process and do not disrupt the proceedings with disruptive behavior. We ask that you refrain from cheering, clapping, booing, or loudly talking from the audience. Overly disruptive behavior, which interferes with the meeting, will not be tolerated. Those distributing or disrupting the meeting will be asked to stop their disruptive behavior. Refusal to comply may result in being removed from the council chambers. All right, with all that legalese there, I'll turn it over to our town clerk to bring up our first speaker tonight.
Our first speaker is Michael Embler.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm here to talk about the Alpine Primrose Speed Management Program that's ongoing. And just a little background, I live at 1880 Alpine Drive, and I've lived there 20 years with my wife and our daughter. And in those 20 years, we've seen a huge change in the traffic pattern that's happening there. It used to, when we first moved there, it's a small community, small neighborhood, and now it's turned into a speedway that's traffic is just going by our house all the time. Our daughter's away at college now, fortunately, but we raised her there in that house. And I see the kids on our street all the time, and the traffic just speeds through there. And it's not just people in the neighborhood, it's construction trucks, it's people that are using it as a shortcut, to bypass the route going around to Sheraton. So I know that this is a speed management program that we're talking about here, but I just ask that you consider the volume of traffic that's going through our community is just incredible. And you've got some pass outs there that Nathaniel will talk about here in just a second. But I just ask that you guys take that into consideration, that it's not just a speeding issue that we have. It's a dangerous situation just because of the volume of traffic that's going through our neighborhood on a daily basis. I fear, every time my wife backs out of the driveway, I fear that, somebody's going to come around that corner and hit her. It's just a rough situation. So I appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.
Next, we have Steve Williams.
Mayor, council members, thank you for your time. I want to cede my time to Nathaniel Moeller so he has a little bit of extra time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Nathaniel Moeller, and I've lived on Alpine Drive in Vista Ridge for almost 3 years now. And I'm here with several of my neighbors who are in the room and online to make you aware of a long-standing safety issue on Alpine and Primrose and to recommend a solution for immediate consideration. Alpine and Primrose were selected for the town's inaugural speed management program. And we're grateful for your support of that program and for the work John Miguel and their team have put in. Data from the program has uncovered a major root cause of speeding, an unsafe number of cars using our streets every single day. On the next page, so page 2 in your handout, the data confirms what residents already knew. 1,500 cars a day, up to 180 cars per hour drive past our driveways, sidewalks, and kids, including my own 4 daughters. Every neighbor here has had an accident or a close call, in a car or on foot. These cars are traveling at up to 39 miles per hour around this curve and are observed going faster on straightaways. The speed limit's 25. 1,500 cars is 150% of these streets' maximum safe capacity. And other developments along County Road 5, including Redtail Ranch, will likely add 300 to 1,500 more cars a day in the coming years. This equation shows that we need to act now to fix this issue before a pedestrian collision forces us to do so. The 2 streets on the next slide tell the story. Alpine and Primrose carry 25% more traffic every day than Skyline Drive, even though Skyline is built for 9 times the volume and runs at just 13% of its capacity. That's proof. We have an unsafe traffic pattern here and the capacity on safer roads nearby to fix it. The map on the next slide shows why this is happening. Vista Ridge has become a major cut-through. Drivers save 1 minute by leaving the collector and arterial roads and flooding our residential streets instead. They're traveling north to Erie High, Sunset Village, the Dump, downtown Erie, and south to King Soopers, Vista Village, Lafayette, Boulder, Broomfield. Every one of those routes converges on Alpine and Primrose, the path of least resistance. The entry at County Road 5 in Hamilton is an anomaly. The only one of Vista Ridge's 7 entry points that's on an unlined road with driveways. And the only place in Erie where an arterial road turns directly into a residential street. County Road 5 becomes Hamilton Road, a short 50-foot stretch, which becomes Alpine Drive. That's clearly not the town's intended design. It's the only place where this happens. This creates a unique dual threat, unsafe volume and unsafe speed together. Moving to the next page, these 2 problems are linked. Drivers who don't live here are just trying to get from point A to point B as fast as possible. They don't necessarily care that our kids play near these streets. If we fix the volume, we fix the speed. We're grateful to be working with the town's speed management program, but its current design doesn't let us consider solutions that address our root cause of speeding, volume. The best approach is to stop Alpine and Primrose from being a cut-through at all by diverting drivers onto streets built to safely handle this volume. Moving on, our proposal is to restrict access at Hamilton Road on the north side of the neighborhood. This will dramatically improve safety on Alpine and Primrose without cutting the neighborhood off from anything. Vista Ridge has 6 other entry points, all safer, none lined with driveways, and all built for more traffic. We suggest starting with concrete barriers or planters, a low-cost reversible test before any permanent investment. The next map shows how this solution will keep cars on the roads built to carry them, instead of cutting through our quiet streets. Drivers heading to County Road 5 get rerouted to Skyline or Ridgeview, larger connectors with no homes on them. Drivers heading from County Road 5 to Highway 7 take County Road 4 and Sheridan instead. Alpine and Primrose traffic volume drops sharply, and the cars that remain are almost entirely local residents who drive at safe speeds. Moving on, we want to be clear. We're grateful for this program and the opportunity it's providing, something residents have been wanting for years. Thank you for making it real and committing town resources. We're fully invested in its success. Because the program is new and learning, we see an opportunity to strengthen it for even more success. It comes with a fixed pre-approved menu, speed cushions, medians, and traffic circles. And the menu doesn't include diversion. We're considering options within the scope, but none of them fully solve the problem. Closing Hamilton Road is what affected Alpine and Primrose residents overwhelmingly prefer, and our HOA president shares the opinion that it should be considered. But right now, that solution isn't allowed to be on the table for discussion. Our request is this. Please allow the program flexibility to add closing Hamilton Road to the table as an option for consideration. That will let us compare the full range of solutions and choose what's safest and most effective. Finally, the speed management program already has budget allocated for this project. Decisions about which solutions to pursue are being made in the next month, so there's some time urgency here. Overall, the data is clear. Speed and volume are linked problems, and we believe one solution solves both: restricting access at Hamilton Road.
20 seconds.
It's also the lowest cost option. There's little to no construction. It's testable almost immediately with temporary barriers, and it does the most to give our neighborhood its safety back. Thank you. We hope you'll let the speed management program consider this solution, and we look forward to discussing it further with you and other stakeholders. Thank you for listening.
All right. Thank you for coming out.
Our next speaker is Hazel Ludwig.
Hello, I'm Hazel Ludwig, and I live in Rex Ranch on 119th Street. Today I've come to talk to you about the Erie Municipal Airport, located at Colorado 7 and 3 miles west of I-25, next to the Erie Air Park. This was built somewhere in the late 1970s, as you well know. It was known as the Tri-County Airport. At that particular time, there was nothing here in Erie much above farmers and a few cows. My husband and I moved here in 2008, and Erie still had a very small town feel, and the airport didn't seem particularly significant. But somewhere in between, it was renamed the Erie Municipal Airport. In 2021, as you well know, the town of Erie established the Erie Airport Economic Advisory Board. I like to call that Show Me the Money, because this was all about how can we increase the revenue from the airport. There were proposed like $300,000 to $500,000 for renovations, and I believe at that time a $3 million grant was put forth. I don't know if any of that came about, but I'm sure some of it did. Then Erie grew and grew. Houses, apartments, townhomes, 9 Mile Corner, the whole stretch of Colorado 7 built up. There are lots of people living in Erie now. So where am I going with this? Well, let's talk about two things: noise and safety. This past Sunday, I went out on my back patio, as I often do, at 6:30 to drink my coffee. By 6:40, the touch and goes started, and they can go anywhere from 8 to 5, supposedly with a maximum recommended of 10 flybys. But in just a short time, I counted 34. Now let's talk about what this is. This is continuous circles over your house, something that is not recommended. These are not just planes, they're helicopters. The cacophony of noise is deafening. Likewise, this morning, I was waiting at a bed at Marfell and Pioneer Place, and a group of planes continually went by from 8 till 11:40 when I went home. Now, I'm not talking about one flies by and then we wait 40 or 50 minutes. I'm talking about
20
plane,
seconds.
plane, and the noise that goes with that. You can see them. You can hear them. They're not that far away. And you can even identify some of them. Now let's talk some safety. I was a former teacher, principal, so kids are important to me. There were approximately 1,216 incidents annually with 356 fatalities from small airplanes. But the alarming thing that's important to Erie is that 72% of the deaths were accounted for pilot error or inexperience. Now, as you well know, at that airport, the touch and goes are for people who are learning to fly. They don't necessarily know how to fly. The planes fly over schools. If you have children at Meadowlark, they fly over neighborhoods. They fly over, and they fly this morning next to the balloon riders. Fatality is not something you would want to have to deal with it if it were your grandchild, your mother, your daughter. I don't think this is, if this is going to happen, I think it's when this is going to happen. I really urge you to look for solutions. Now, obviously, my solution is, hey, let's move the airport. But since this is a town that built Vista Ridge around a landfill, I probably doubt that's going to happen. But what I am urging you to do is to take these Erie voluntary guidelines here and make them more permanent. Stop these planes for doing 34 drive-by or flybys in a matter of a few hours and then continuing on throughout the day. Now, anyway, that's my story, and you got it.
All right,
And I
thank
hope you
you.
consider it.
Next, we have Micah Zagorski.
Good evening, Mayor Moore and members of council. My name is Micah Zagorski, and I live in the Vista Ridge neighborhood. Tonight, I'm here to speak about the proposed neighborhood speed management program on Alpine Drive in Primrose Lane. I am strongly opposed to the two options being presented, and as a transportation engineer with over 25 years of experience in local government, I am disappointed with the town's public outreach and neighborhood engagement on this project. First, I'm a little confused as to why the town is proposing to spend $50,000 of the neighborhood speed management program's limited funding on traffic calming in our neighborhood. There is not a speeding issue on Alpine Street or Primrose Lane. I repeat, there is not a speeding issue on Alpine Street or Primrose Lane. This is based on objective speed data collected by the town. Critical decisions and permanent impacts to public streets shouldn't be based on anecdotal opinions from biased residents. Instead of spending taxpayer dollars on improvements that aren't warranted, I would urge you to direct staff to move those neighborhood speed management funds that are slated for Vista Ridge neighborhood to a project in another Erie neighborhood that actually has a speeding problem. That is why you developed the program, right? To address speeding issues in the neighborhoods. Further, I'm concerned with the options that will restrict turning movements and access at major intersections in the Vista Ridge neighborhood. And even more frustrated with some of the proposals that were presented earlier tonight. Has the town's consultant studied how proposed changes would impact traffic patterns? Not to mention the negative impacts to school bus routes and emergency response? The options being proposed will not solve the problem, but rather shift it to another local street in our neighborhood. If the town's goal is to address regional traffic problems and minimize cut-through traffic, I suggest you expand your study area and focus resources on improvements to the arterial street network, like Sheridan and connecting County Road 4 east to County Road 7. What is being proposed with the Alpine Drive Neighborhood Speed Management Project is the wrong solution for the Vista Ridge neighborhood and will have negative impacts to our quality of life. Lastly, if you're going to hold a neighborhood meeting and solicit input, invite the entire neighborhood, not just a few selected residents. Major changes to neighborhood streets and access, like what is being proposed, warrant input from all those potentially impacted. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Next is Jacob Stalin.
Good evening, Council. My name is Jacob Stalin. I am a Vista Ridge resident. My wife and my kids moved to Vista Ridge in Erie in 2022. Since then, we've had a fourth child, who's now 2. I'm here to speak as a testimonial to the speed problem that is going on Alpine Drive. Counter to the previous testimonial that was shared, I have watched as accidents have happened on this street. Children driving quickly on this street, and my neighbor trying to turn into her driveway slowing down after taking her children to school and being rear-ended by someone, and that person taking off and not saying anything, not waiting for the police. I've also seen vehicles that have ended up on people's driveways because of the speed problem going on Alpine Drive. Now, my children are very young. I have 4 of them. My oldest is 7, and my youngest is 2. We don't play out front hardly at all because of the safety issue. And when we do, we're both outside with our children, and we place a slow sign out for people to hopefully see that our children are up front and slow down. That is oftentimes met with aggression. I've seen people come through this neighborhood and speed up when they see this. I've seen people rev their engines when they've seen this. It's created a large dilemma that we don't feel safe having our children out front of our house. And so I'm here to share that I'm very encouraged with the speed management program that you've elected to provide us with and the options. But I'm here to also support Nathaniel's option and consideration that Hamilton Road be closed. I feel like that is the safest and most effective and the least costly option to provide a solution that fixes the speed and volume issue that we're experiencing. So thank you for your consideration.
All right, thank you.
Our next speaker is Carrie Zagorski.
Good evening, Council. I've never done this before. My name is Carrie Zagorski. I also live in the Vista Ridge neighborhood. I do want to go on record that closing of Hamilton will lead to very unsafe exit from the neighborhood on Skyline onto Sheridan with increased traffic. The ability to see Sheridan from Alpine, there's a lot of, there's like an electrical box, and the road kind of slopes up, so you really can't see cars coming if you're going to try and make a left turn. I'm an experienced driver. I have a very difficult time navigating that intersection myself. I have a 15-year-old daughter that will be driving next year to high school. I'm very worried about her trying to exit the neighborhood from that area. Sure, I mean, I've seen people speed on Primrose and speed on Alpine. I do feel like most people don't. So I think that's probably why the study is not, showing that there's a huge problem. I think there's select people that do drive fast. I do agree with my husband that having better arterial would work good. Where we're situated, it would really make it very challenging for us to get to our house if we can't get to the neighborhood through Hamilton. So that's where I'm going to leave it. It will be very unsafe, and I think there's going to be a lot of teen drivers that will be hit should we be forced out through Skyline. So, all right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
That's the last person that signed up.
All right, is there anybody else in the audience that would like to address us tonight? Come on up. And just state your name and location for the record.
Okay, my name's Elena Clark. Hi, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I have lived on Alpine for 19 years. I have had 3 children, and our house was like the house that all the kids came and played soccer, baseball, basketball, whatever you want to name it. My kids are now a little older. I have a teenage driver. I can't even express how scary it is to pull out of my driveway when I have almost been hit by adults, by teens. I get it, like we all need to leave 2 minutes earlier or whatever. I don't know if I agree with everything, but I do know there is a problem. I know that when they did do the speeding thingamabobs, sorry, I don't like speaking.
It's okay.
I'm very introverted, but they put it right on the corner. And so, of course, what do you automatically see? You see a copy slow down. I can tell you I witnessed the car crash that hit a car that was parked, and heaven forbid that the little child that had just walked by would have gotten hit. My concern is we have put out the slow guy. I can tell you I replaced my slow dude 10 times. I have been yelled at, I have been cursed at, I have been flipped off. I don't care, whatever, like, just slow down. And a lot of it is people going to work, people going to school. I don't know the best option. I do agree with Nathaniel in a lot of ways. I do agree with the speed management surveys and stuff like that. There is a problem. We have better streets. And for people that don't live there, and I have lived there 19 years, and I'm one of the original people in the neighborhood, I was always terrified if my dog would have sprinted out like that. I think like last year sometime, one of my dogs sprinted out and the person had to screech on their brakes. And granted, like, my dog was chasing a squirrel. Not the kid's fault, but it's still terrifying because I am one that will run into the street. If you're crossing the street, it's scary, especially for a little kid without an adult. And we are all human and we all make mistakes. And I think the problem is that there are so many voices that don't live on the streets that are being affected by the speeding. And like, everyone sped. We're all guilty of that, and I understand that. I just wish that people would understand that I get terrified, and my kids are older, 17, 21, and 23, that they're gonna get hit. And they're grown-up kids. Like, I can't even imagine my neighbor's kids. Sorry. It scares me because I have almost had my kids hit by cars. I've almost been collided in 6 times in the past 4 months. And I should be able to pull out safely. I'm not breaking the law. I know that we're all in a hurry to get places. I understand that. I just wish that people would understand that it is an actual problem. If you put a speeding sign saying, hey, I'm going to check what your speed is, every kid is going to slow down. Every adult is going to slow down. So I would just hope that people would understand that we're all just trying to work together to find the best solution instead of like seeing that there isn't a problem, because there is a problem. Thank you very much. Hope you have a good night.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to address this tonight? All right. I just want to say, I want to engage on these topics, but of course the forum for all of us is that we can't engage on them, but you can reach out to any of us. I think this issue on Primrose and Alpine just started to make us aware about a week ago. We started to get emails from residents. Reach out. I'll meet with you for coffee. I'm sure most of our council members would do the same thing. And let's have a conversation. I also know our transportation group will take all the input seriously and work through the right solution, understanding that there probably isn't a perfect solution. And the airplanes, Hazel, I'm willing to talk with you. It's the feds. I don't want to just brush it aside because I think we all hear what you said tonight. And it's important. We don't have a solution for that one, not at least at the moment. Okay, we're going to move on tonight to our core business, which includes 6 different presentations from our boards and commissions. So each of our boards and commissions has about 15 minutes. I'm not going to cut anybody off right at 15 minutes, but that's roughly the time we have. And so we're going to start with the Planning Commission. If we'll have our chair and vice chair come up and start the process.
We divvied up the slides, so we just have to know who's doing what.
I know what slides.
Okay, this is going to be a little difficult. I'm assuming the man behind the curtain is going to be wheeling the slides for us.
And he's got them up over on that side.
Perfect.
And maybe just start with your names and positions, and we'll launch right into it.
Go ahead.
I'm Delaney Druckman. I'm the Vice Chair of the Planning Commission.
I'm Andrew Sawish, the Chair of the Planning Commission. Adam, next slide, please. So you'll notice that this slide deck is a little different than you've seen in the past. So the commission role is based largely on what statute, the home rule charter as well as what the actual municipal code provides. So there is a rather large table inside of the UDC. Our specific role is within the UDC. It's verbatim right there. And largely it is a advisory recommending body for all these QJ quasi-judicial applications as well as comprehensive plan and the UDC amendments. I'm not going to go into all of these because obviously you know what these all are because they come to you guys after they are seen by us.
Next slide, please. Okay, so this is our team. So you have our 7 current planning commissioners, our 2 former planning commissioners who we have on here because their terms ended in May, so they were present for a lot of the stuff we're discussing in this presentation. We have our planning staff and our communications staff. Kelly serves as our liaison right now, but that will switch to Daryl shortly. He's been in our meetings and he's being onboarded right now. And then we have, from the attorney's office, we have Elliot, who's in all our meetings as well to advise us on everything legal.
And of course, the man behind the curtain, Adam, at our meetings as well. So next slide, please. Actually, this one.
Oh, this is you, because you took the mic, because I know. So these are some of the development applications we've seen over the past few months. This is a little more detailed than I believe the presentations have been in the past, but we have seen less than in previous years. So just on here, we go over the rezoning applications, preliminary plats, site plans, special review use, and we list them out by their names, the acreage, how they were approved, if we had any public comment in them, and then if there was a dwelling unit associated with it.
Real quickly on this, you could see we have very limited number of developments as well as the applications themselves. When we're going through previous years where this was provided in some of the slide presentations, they were biannual. So this was a 6-month period. 2021, obviously we had the pandemic, 5 applications, 3 rezonings, 1 comp plan amendment, 1 PUD, 2 preliminary plats, and then as we start moving forward, we start ramping up again. So the development in the town has obviously slowed with the economy as well as some of the things that we've had to deal with here in town. But this is something that we know is definitely affecting not just us, it's affecting other communities as well. So next slide, please. We also obviously provide recommendations on the UDC amendments as well. So we've had the UDC amendments were related to the public hearing notices, the installation of wires facilities, sign regulations, manufactured homes as dwelling units, landscaping, and then we also had the consolidation of penalties and enforcement for code violations. Even though it had aspects that were not pertaining to the UDC, we also reviewed the other items and obviously provided our recommendation there. Next slide, please.
And then a few other items that we had come before us. So we discussed the Planning Commission roles and responsibilities that we discussed with all of you at our study session. And then we had the active harmer training, comprehensive plan implementation, a few discussions about Prop 123. We had recognition of Commissioners Bayham and Burns, and then the Roberts Rule of Order overview, SIRSA training, election of the new chair and vice chair, discussion of the annual report to you guys, obviously from tonight. Yeah. Looks like all of it.
Next slide, please. So this is also something that I wanted to add in here just so we could see how we're comparing against previous years. From 2020 to 2026, we know that there's a number of canceled meetings that have been occurring. We've had these conversations about roles and responsibilities for a purpose because this has been every presentation since 2021, I believe it has been. It's been about how can we assist further? What else can we do for the then Board of Trustees, now Council, and the residents? And as time has gone on, we've had a number of canceled meetings because the development applications haven't been there. The UDC amendments haven't been there. There were a large number, Councilmember Hoback would remember some of the marathon meetings that we had back in 2021 when we were going through 8 chapters of the UDC, 4 hours, 43 minutes, where we also had 2 applications on that night. Basically, there was so much for us to do at that time that we were there almost 5 hours. And then you look at 2020, where it was 7 minutes, the shortest one in the past 6 years, because it was approval of the meeting minutes so that it could be sent up to the board of trustees at the time. So we're understanding that there is more that we can do. We understand that the cancellations are not unique to just this planning commission. This has been something that has been going on for many years. Next slide, please. So we start to develop now these goals. Two of the things that one of the things that needs to occur per the actual municipal code, the update that was recently done, is the bylaws. We, as a planning commission, do not have bylaws. So this is something that is going to be coming before us on September 2nd, tentatively, where town administration is currently looking at bylaws for every single one of the boards and commissions, and then adding certain things in there that might be unique to each of the boards and commissions themselves. So we'll have that discussion with staff when that time comes. We'll also have a work plan, because we don't have a work plan. When we were in that CIRSA training, the boards and commissions training that was in the beginning of June, I think it was, that was something that they said, what's on your work plan? And it was like, well, we don't have a work plan, because that isn't necessarily our role currently. Usually it's these applications, these UDC amendments as they come before us. So that is what spurred those conversations additionally related to the roles and responsibilities from last week when we had that joint study session. Next slide, please. So in that work plan, we've had discussions about this, and this is basically culminating all of these roles and responsibilities conversations. What can we do of substance that we can actually plan on? Because we know it's not just us. It's not just our time that is of need. It's also staff's. It's also your time to actually approve these work plans and say, yes, this is something that is of value. So we look at this as something as we'll work with staff as well as you all on this to come up with a 2027 work plan, because we know this isn't something we can do right now. And maybe it's something that we could potentially help staff or yourselves with. What exactly that is, obviously, we're still figuring that out. We do have, from our joint study session, staff is actually going to be reviewing what other municipalities and other jurisdictions do in terms of the roles and responsibilities of those planning commissions. And they're going to be providing a memo on, I believe, August 24th to Planning Commission and Council, so that we can all see what is it that we're doing. Are we doing something different? Are we not doing something that other municipalities are doing? And then obviously the other ancillary items, the joint study sessions. And I know I had said last week we're planning on one with OSTAB October 21st. And then there's also, we have individuals who are experts in their field. We as the Planning Commission should be experts in what we do. So having commissioner-led presentations on various topics, whether that is something that is happening at the State House, a bill that might be coming through, or just a topic that we all may want to learn about. And then, of course, the additional roles and responsibilities. So next slide, but I'm going to say, does anybody have any questions?
All right, I'll bring it back to council. I have a clarifying question. You're talking about a work plan. We operate off of an advanced agenda that we all have access to, and from that advanced agenda, things can be added or removed. Do you guys have an advanced agenda? Can you look months in advance to see what's coming towards you?
Yes, we, as of, I think it was March or April of last year, we now do have an advanced agenda. And one of my roles as chair is to work with staff to start planning that out. So if we do have items that we could attend to, or we could use to fill this time, something of value, we can add them and know what is upcoming. Obviously, with applications, they're tentative. Some of these can move around, or even UDC amendments. But we do, in fact, have one, and we're going to start planning out next year's momentarily with staff.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what a work plan, because as I think it through, the Planning Commission is largely dictated by the things that are coming down the pipeline. It's not like there's a whole lot outside of that. At least that's the way I'm thinking about it at the moment. Anyway, just a thought at this point. Go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, thank you both for the presentation. The slide with the number of meetings per year, and just kind of averaging this out, we're about a little more than halfway through the year here. So I'm guessing, we might maybe get to 20 or low 20s, but obviously, I wasn't able to be there at the joint session last week that we all had, but I know there's been a lot of discussions about what more roles and things you possibly take on, to kind of maybe make that more productive. And as you mentioned, the housing industry right now is kind of in a decline, so that naturally gives you guys less to do. One of the things that I've often talked about as far as with staff time and with council time, typically on if it's preliminary plat or a minor PD amendment, we go through this thing where staff presents towards you, then it comes before us. They give the same presentation a lot of times. I think some of those things, especially like I remember years ago, there was a minor PD amendment with basically was like a 6-inch encroachment for a window well on an easement, and I think staff spent like a 2-hour presentation. That's obviously not an efficient use of time, but are there things like that you've looked into on maybe where we could work out the process between what you guys are doing, what we're doing, and try to streamline those things?
You want to take the question first? Sure. Yes, we have one of the new commissioners who, in his role in his professional career, he works with multiple municipalities. He is in many hearings similar to what all of our applicants do. He has identified some things that are different than what other municipalities do. And we've also identified some of these nuances of Westerly was a good example where they had 8 acres that they're adding in to the PD, and that triggered the application to basically, do that whole PD amendment. And that was another 2.5 hour hearing that we had. There are some things that other municipalities do where there's like call-ups, for instance. So maybe it's the planning commission provides a recommendation and then the council can decide, do we call this up or do we have it on consent? So we are looking at what other communities are doing, what we're doing differently. I know that with us being a home rule municipality, it's unique to us how we want to do this within reason, of course. We can do some unique things with planning and zoning. Of course, I'm going to look to our legal counsel for all of their decisions on things, but yes, we have.
There we go. Thank you.
All right. Other questions, comments? No. Go ahead.
One of the things that I see, coming from the planning commission to the council are the neighborhood meeting concerns, things like that. Is there a way that we can vet those more completely before they get to council to make sure that we're addressing all the neighbors' concerns?
You want to take this one? Okay. So part of our role is to vet the application, to discuss the application, to basically prepare the applicant or bring up these items that may not have been thought of or not addressed in the application. That is one of our roles. There are countless times where, watching your council meetings after the fact, I'll see that staff and the applicant have taken the time to address something. So it's about generally, 3 weeks to 5 weeks or so from when it comes to us and then it comes back to you. But there are many times where they will actually address something or staff will add it into the presentation to specifically address a comment or topic that was actually brought up. Obviously, we can't, get to everything. We try to, but of course, there's certain things that I know you all will also bring up that we might not have. So we do try to, just to try to get it so it's in a better state when it comes to you all.
And thanks for the presentation tonight. Appreciate you guys being here.
Okay, thank you for coming out, giving us an update. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, if we can have Ken Martin, who's our chair of our Open Space Trail Advisory Board, come up, that'd be great.
Good evening. I'm
Good
Ken
evening.
Martin, Chair of Town's Open Space and Trails Advisory Board, typically known as OSTAB. Next slide, please. I'll just briefly review what we're going to do tonight. First, members, we have a change after multiple years where there was no turnover at all, so I'll reel them in. Some acknowledgements, our work plan, what we've done the past 6 months, and what we plan to do in the next 6 months. Next slide, please. Okay. We had 4 members whose term expired. All chose to reapply, and we had 8 almost unprecedented additional applications. So bottom line, we had 12 applicants for 4 positions. Created quite a challenge for us. We ultimately came up with a system of ranking them. We turned in our results to Luke Bollinger, Director of Park and Rec, who was at the meeting, and he tallied them up. And in the end, 3 of the 4 incumbents were reappointed. The new one is second from the bottom, Ed Guignon. I'm about 80% certain I've pronounced that properly. If I've made a mistake, I'm going to plead the 5th. Not do it. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of background about him. He's only lived in town about 3 years. However, he's lived in the county, a nearby community, for 13 years. Here's some of the things he's done. 13 years on the Parks and Rec Board, 8 years on the Town Recreation Development Board, which manages money for that. 2 years Hike and Bike Master Plan Committee, 2 other committees, Community Arts Council, chair of a kids' playground program, et cetera, et cetera. So he really had outstanding experience, and he's a welcome addition to our board. At one of the meetings, he mentioned that his goal, he's a recent retiree, was to scale all the 14ers. At which point, one member of the existing committee said, I did that a long time ago. So that was a surprise to me. Okay, next slide, please. I'd like to give a shout out to our 2 liaisons. Without doing any research, I'm about 99.99% certain that we have not had a single meeting when at least one of them wasn't there. And multiple times, both have attended. So thanks to both of you. Park and staff liaison, Luke has been to every single meeting, I'm quite certain, ever since he was appointed director. Matt comes to the meetings when items come up that are relevant to his responsibilities. And of course, we consistently challenge the town clerk's office with our constant changes to our agenda, so thanks to them too. Next slide, please. Okay, the first item closed on the 32-acre Wild Rose open space parcel. If you don't know where that is, it's in the northwest part of town, up near where Jasper and Jay are. As it mentions here, it will serve to connect Kenosha Farms and Canyon Creek. But actually, there's a lot more going on. Later on this year, the Boulder County Prairie Run open space area will open. That's just on the west side of 119th Street. That'll be about 800 acres. There's a comparable property to the north, which won't be open for a while. The Erie Trail is in place. The trails are finished on Prairie Run. The user-activated crossing signal on 119th is just waiting to be used. So you know, it's a lot more important than just connecting the adjacent neighborhood to Kenosha Farms. Also like to point out that at the northern end of Canyon Creek, which is the portion closest to Jasper and Jay, the Spine Trail runs there adjacent to the RDT right away. To the east, it goes down the county line and on down to Cold Creek Trail. So in the long run, it gives virtually all members of the town the ability to get to that Prairie Run open space without having to use roads at all, which makes it very important that we put the trail into the Wild Rose parcel, which we just closed on recently. I don't think I'm going to go over every one of these. I've already mentioned the Prairie Run Trail connection. The fourth one, Down Page property, I think we're all aware that we've spent more than a couple of hours on that in the last 6 months, and maybe the last couple of years. We attend both the Arbor Day and Town Fair. We primarily have printed maps of the town's trail system. We know that they're available online, but many people choose to use the paper map, and we frequently get questions. How do I get from point A to point B? We're working on a new process to get a work plan together. We're also coming up, well, this is in conjunction with Parks, with a scoring system to give a number to all the properties. There's about 40 of them that are potential open space acquisitions in the future. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, and as an addition to Prairie Run, I think you've all heard of BERT, which is the Boulder to Erie Regional Trail. That's going to be adjacent to the RTD right away. The eastern end is pretty much complete because of our town work. The BERT Trail will end at County Line Road, but the extension down to Cold Creek has already been complete for well more than a decade, and it also provides some parking just on the east side of County Line Road. There's a rumor that the Page property will still have some activity going. In fact, I think one of the items you approved tonight is to go forward with a rezoning of that property. I've already mentioned our plans to come up with a scoring system for future opportunities. I guess I'd like to point out too, since the Planning Commission just had their presentation, we have a joint meeting scheduled with them in October to scope out a task for the two commissions and town staff for next year to both look at the current zoning categories for open space to see if any changes need to be made there, and inevitably to rezone some of the existing open space partial, because currently they're all zoned as ag lands, even though clearly some of them will never serve that purpose. And of course, we'll continue to attend the town fair and Arbor Day. Next slide, please. Okay, any questions, discussion?
I'll ask the same question I asked Planning and Zoning. You mentioned a new work plan, which implies that you have a work plan. So what is new, and how do you get your current work plan established?
Okay. Well, that's quite new. We're just putting that together now.
Okay.
But obviously the purpose is to lay out items that are missing or need to be improved, and to set up a schedule so we can get those done in a reasonably efficient time frame.
Yeah, so as I'm thinking this through, this is probably true with regard to all the boards and commissions, with the exception of Planning and Zoning. You guys are partially setting your own agenda. You're trying to understand what open space parcels may be available.
And it's been, it tends to be reactive.
Yeah.
Or, address the current hot buttons.
Right.
So we need to spend more time looking ahead to areas that have fallen off the table because they're not hot enough, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. Let me come back to council. Go ahead, Councilmember Bear.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. I remember working with you at the Boulder County Commissioners on the Prairie Run, and also I think Director Bollinger as well, for BERT. I'm really excited to see those projects finally coming to fruition, and excited for the Wild Rose connection. Happy to hear that there's maybe a hawk sign that's just waiting for the button to be pushed, so community, go use that pedestrian crossing on 119th. I'm curious what you'll find about when you look at parcels to rezone for open space, because through the mineral rights discussion, we discovered that probably our open space does not reflect the intention of the charter. So do you have any initial thoughts on that?
Well, this is more a personal thought than a formal decisions made by the OSAB. But I'm quite dissatisfied with the two zoning categories that we have now for open space. One is ag lands, which is 100, quite flexible as it needs to be, and that zoning can be changed at the will of the town council. The other is reserved, but effectively it's everything that's not ag. And in that case, only the town citizens have to approve any change in use to that. That just doesn't seem to make sense to me. That effectively we're saying that, to me, the non-ag lands are more important than the ag lands. So, to me, the Page property is a perfectly ideal example for me. 100% ag, 100% reserve would be my own personal preference. So that's something we're definitely going to plan to address as part of the task next year. But of course, staff will be heavily involved in that too.
Do you mean that perhaps there's another category we should consider?
Well, to me, both, I can see the rationale of ag land needing to be very flexible and the others not so. But I think in both situations, some parcels are more critical than others. So I think both categories need to be in a situation where some would be reserved, meaning only the town citizens can have a change of use, and the others would give more flexibility to the town council to make decisions. So I'm going to be personally pushing hard for that one.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Good.
Yeah, I think one's very restrictive, one's very flexible. It seems, and we have nothing in between, and we have actually no property in the reserved. It's all in the ag, so it's very flexible at this point. And do we want to go to very restrictive? Is the other option, right? Yeah. So, where's the balance, and do we need additional categories to make that balance, or can we open up those categories? So.
It's needed because the devil is always in the details.
Sure is. So, but and thanks for coming tonight and all your service. Appreciate it.
All right. Councilmember Hoback, any comments tonight?
No, thank you.
Thanks, Ken. Go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Thank you, Ken. Appreciate your comments as always. I think it's a great idea, those two boards meeting, because you guys are dealing with more of the open space thing, whereas the Planning Commission deals a little bit more with zoning type of things. And I think, I'm guessing probably one of the things with the ag land and why there's so much, it's probably a lot of it has to deal with the existing uses on the land. So just curious, when you guys look at what's in your open space inventory, do you do you oftentimes look at, like Wise Farms, for example, there's an existing agricultural lease on the land. Do you look at those sorts of things when you're acquiring properties or reviewing inventory of stuff that we have?
Yeah, I mean, when the property is acquired, you have to look ahead. Perhaps the Weiss Farm is a good example where it's essentially all ag lands. There's a small wetland area there, but of course the RTD right away runs right through it, and the goal always was to possibly have a trail to Erie, to Boulder, and then there's some excellent views to the west from that property, particularly the southern end is quite a bit higher than the northern end of Jasper. So when that property was acquired, it was anticipated that although it would be primarily ag land, it would likely have other uses. And now with the BERT plan in process, Prairie Run was never even thought of there.
Sure.
That'd be very likely it'd be a natural place for a trailhead to serve both the property but also the Boulder County trail and open space. So you definitely have to look ahead when you decide to purchase a property and assign the proper priorities to it.
Yep. Thank you. Yep. Appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you. And thank you for the presentation. And I appreciate your passion in going and looking deeper into the open space. I think with the when the residents approved the charter, I think they thought that we were protecting the open space, and to find out that we really weren't protecting it through a vote is concerning. And so I look forward to OSTAB's and Planning Commission's work to kind of sort through this and detail that which properties should be reserved or whatever other zoning category is used or made or created, that those lands that I think the residents feel are precious enough to basically, have to go through a vote to.
I could see something comparable to what happens with the Supreme Court. We have the originalist saying you can only look at the exact words and can't go any further, and then there's more of the interpretive thing. So I'm not an originalist.
Good. Well, thank you, and I appreciate all the work you and the rest of the OSTAB members do.
All right. Thank you for coming out tonight. And
welcome.
We'll see you next year, and of course, all your input throughout the year.
Mayor, if I might interrupt for just a moment, I should have said this before they all started. The work plans you will see tonight were actually a request of staff. Okay. The idea was that all the boards have an annual work plan, one, so they know what they're doing, also so that they're not working in opposition to a goal that council might have, so we want to know that. Additionally, you're going to notice next year's annual meeting is going to be in February. Our goal is that the work plan comes to you all in February so that when we're recruiting members in March and April, they know what they're signing up for to do the work for next year. So I should have mentioned that before we started.
All right, very helpful. Thank you. All right, we're going to go on to the Airport Economic Development Advisory Board, and Emmett Dowling, the chair, is with us tonight. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor Moore, Mayor Pro Tem Bell, council members. My name's Emmett Dowling. I've been a member of this board for 6 years now, currently serving as the chairman. Next slide, thank you. Members, we're going to agenda here, sorry, new format here. Acknowledgements, our work plan, the highlights of the first 6 months of this year and going forward. Next slide, please. So this is our current list. Our newest member is Mr. Steve Tobin, who comes to us, I think we had 10 applications this time. He has quite a bit of experience with airports, currently serving at the largest airport in our state. So we're very happy to have him.
You're referring to DIA?
Yes.
Okay.
Lyle Martin and Michael Bowden were both reappointed, I should say, to a new term. And then we have Jennifer Webb, Kevin Kane, who also serves at DIA as well. And then Paul Heftaling, who's one of the original members as well, has now stepped down to the vice chairman role. Next slide, please. Our town council liaisons are Mayor Pro Tem Bell, who has been with us from the start, Councilmember Pessamorelli. Staff liaisons, Julian Jacquin, sorry if I mispronounced that, Julian, who's done a great job helping us through the process, and Mr. Lockie Woods, who's been excellent in getting the clarity on the economics of the airport, providing us with a lot of good information. That was one of the goals from the start, and he's done a great job with that. And then the town clerk's office, who's been very helpful and understanding. So very appreciative for both of you. Next slide, please. Okay, here's our work plan. So the last time I was here, we presented an airport fee structure to update the one that we have. And just a little bit of background there. Currently, the general fund provides what I would call an investment in the airport, roughly $200,000 plus or minus. CDOT economic impact says that $200,000 gives you a $20 million economic impact. So a very good return on investment. Currently, we're going through a lot of, with the fee structure, we're going through a lot of comments, and especially from the residential side. And it's been said from the beginning that the presentation of this fee structure is just an initial step, a starting point, and that it shouldn't be something that's achieved tomorrow, that it should be done over time, because there's an obligation to be fair and reasonable with our fees. That's part of the grant money that we take from the federal and state levels. Centennial Airport, our neighbors down south, are currently subject to a lawsuit and a FAA complaint because of change in fees to a group of hangars, a large group of hangars controlled by a fixed base operator there named Jet Center. So there, one individual hangar there was looking at a $7,000 increase year over year. So we want to avoid exposing this town to any kind of fees, but moreover, we want to be fair and reasonable. So the town has provided, is doing a legal review on those to include many aspects. And then the next item, we've got new hangar development. Currently, that's in negotiations right now. There's an RFP out there. The Erie Airfair, we hope that will happen next year, provided the resources are allocated. And then next year, the Sundance Film Festival is coming here to Boulder from Park City. So there's an opportunity to participate in that and make Erie a gateway to that event. And that would have a lot of effects, to benefit the town with people visiting restaurants and shops and stuff like that. And lastly, community engagement, which is very important. Jennifer Webb's presented a thing recently at our meeting talking about how there's programs at Erie High School through Ames College that provide a leg up to a lot of different aviation fields. And engaging the community with the airport just makes it that much more important, gives some, people a feeling of connection. Next slide, please. Okay, so this kind of talked a little bit about this here. The airport fee structure recommendations. Currently, we're reviewing some of the residential ones for potential revision. The residential one will not likely go into effect until next year, as we work through a lot of the issues. The commercial one may happen a little bit sooner to that. The hangar development RFP says that the staff is currently negotiating with that to bring some more hangar development to the airport to generate additional revenues. Next slide, please. Going forward, the FBO agreement right now, that's been in negotiations for several years now. The building itself, which is a town asset, was basically determined to have a zero value because it was in desperate need of repairs and updates. A long-term lease would provide the operator the ability to invest in that building and make it look better. And then the hangar development, also when someone considers purchasing a hangar on town property, they are subject to a ground lease. So the 20-year limitation of that needs to be extended. Some other airports will do like a 25-5 or a 20-10-10, with a renewal period at the end of each one of those. Community engagement. Next year, we're hoping to bring the Erie Airfare back. And then we're working on projects to connect the airport to the community. Jennifer Webb's very excited about that, and I think that's an important thing. And then the fee rate structure engagement. This Saturday, the airport manager will be holding a meeting on site at the airport, I believe at a hangar, to give residents the opportunity to talk about that. And some members of the board will be there as well to help answer questions about that. The ground lease ordinance currently is at 25 cents a square foot. That needs to be updated to the 32 cents as a starting point to update the entire fee structure there. Next slide, please. All right. Questions, please?
All right, I'll bring it back. Go ahead, Councilmember Hoback.
Thank you very much. Just one question, maybe rather broad, on the Sundance Festival coming to the
Sure.
area. New to everybody, we don't have any real comparative data to look at. What sort of, do you have any expectations, or what sort of capacity that do we have? Do we have like parking available for planes or that kind of thing?
Yeah, so we have tie downs right now that I would say are probably at 40% capacity.
Okay.
So, and then our FBO operator has some additional hangar capacity that they make available for some customers as well. So there's plenty of room there to, assist in that, and our proximity to Boulder makes us a good candidate, I think. And maybe that's, working with the chamber to highlight, that this service is available, and to, help increase the visibility of Erie.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Bear.
Thank you, Mr. Dowling, for the presentation. I was contacted by the Air Park HOA, and I met with them. I've also met with Miss Webb, who's a professor at Ames College. in aviation. And you didn't mention that, so I'm going to make sure to mention it. Her program connecting high school students to the college, I think, is really exciting. She fought really hard to get that extended to Erie high school students, and I think that would be a great presentation for council to have, so that we can learn more about that program and so we can help to publicize it. I've been pushing for years to connect the community with the airport because as we heard in public comment tonight, there's a significant portion of our community who don't feel connected to the airport.
Sure.
And hosting the airfare, once every other year maybe isn't cutting the mustard for folks who feel really impacted. So I'm excited to look at ways we can continue to connect to the community and help people feel empowered and benefited by, like with open space, everyone has access and everyone uses it. So we need to look for ways to do that for the airport. So I was encouraged by the HOA to watch the June meeting. So I did watch the June meeting, which was, they had some real frustrations about it. And in that meeting, we talked about the through the fence fees, and it was mentioned that they're likely not legal, but that was not your focus as an advisory board. You would make recommendations to the council whether or not they were legal, but you weren't concerned that was someone else's problem. So my concern has been that are we going to be considering a through the fence fee that's not legal? Are you actually sending it through legal review? I saw it's included on your work plan, but in the meeting you told the Air Park HOA that you would not be, that wasn't your concern with whether or not your recommendations were legal.
Well, I think part of the issue is that we've provided the initial step, providing the fee structure there, and then the legal side of it is not like we don't have access. We're not sitting down with the town lawyers, and I think that's probably by design. But we definitely want to recommend things that are legal, and we want to avoid any legal issues. None of us, well, one of us is an attorney, but it's a step in the process. And so, we are considering a revision to that recommendation for the residential side, and that will be on the agenda for the next meeting. And that was a subject of discussion at the July meeting. So we're not trying to do anything that's not legal. We're just sticking to our area of expertise. Our specific focus is providing this structure, and then handing it off so that the attorneys can make legal decisions within their scope of expertise.
Yeah, Councilmember, if I might. Yeah, so the board made a recommendation that included this, and now staff is looking into what may or may not be feasible, and that includes all the legal aspects. So anything that then comes to you guys will have been fully vetted by staff and by the town attorney's office about what is legal and what is not.
I wonder, I guess, if that is the most efficient way to consider a fee structure, since we're trying to shoehorn a suggestion into the legal description of it. Maybe instead we should be taking a more holistic approach. I know that the homeowners feel frustrated, and I think the advisory board feels frustrated, and I think staff feels frustrated, and the folks in town feel frustrated, and I think they're all calling me because it's in my district. I'm not sure, in my neighborhood.
Now they're making you frustrated.
Right, no. But I am trying to kind of look at it, okay, how do we address all of these issues for all of these different folks? So anyway, as we're moving forward, I have no question that we'll find a legal answer for through the fence fees. It's very important that we're looking at, what's fair, as you said, fair and reasonable for our residents, because I did hear from a widow, and she spoke at the June meeting as well, that this would really impact her life. And she's not a pilot, but she's lived there for decades. Her pilot husband has passed away, and this consideration may displace her. And so that's of grave concern for me too. So beyond just the is it technically legal piece, there's the is it right question. So I think that's something that we should be considering, with the residents.
Yeah, and I think staff's intention when we bring it back to you is to give you options and pros and cons, and then it's really a policy decision for you guys to make at that point.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to keep us moving here. You still have the floor, Councilmember Bear.
Okay. And then, I also heard from residents that they were not seeing that their feedback has been incorporated through the fence fees. So I just would, you don't have to address that, but I would encourage as we move forward that maybe there's a line item that says, we heard this from residents and here's how we took that information and incorporated it into our recommendation. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
That's good. Go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yep, thank you. So I guess the meeting in question, I wasn't at that one, did watch it in its entirety, but I know this last week or a couple weeks ago, we discussed that meeting quite a bit. I had sent in an email prior to that. I think what we all came to the conclusion was there was a miscommunication in the community, and normally, I think in all the years that we've been doing these meetings, like we're lucky if we get one or two people show up, and then we have a meeting where there's 30 people. So I think the scope of what you guys were looking at was maybe a little bit misunderstood, and that just as any advisory board, you guys give advice, comes up the chain through us where it becomes policy. So this was something that from the outset that we actually in our prior town attorney Kendra Carberry, when we started looking at this, we started looking at some of the deeded access and some of the things that were in question there. She even said she didn't have the expertise in there, and we hired on an airport attorney to look at this. So the legal aspects of this were always being looked at. They were being looked at from a staff position, but that obviously didn't get communicated out well to the public, and I don't think that's anyone's fault. It's just one of these things where we didn't know it was a problem until they came before, or that one particular meeting where there was quite a bit of comment. And so I think for residents who didn't watch the meeting and I'm trying to remember what the date of that last meeting was. It was the 17th or the 16th?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah. I would encourage residents in the airport to watch that, whatever that Thursday was, June 16th. Let me pull up my calendar here. Sorry.
I'm gonna try to bring us back. This is kind of an update.
Sorry.
It's an important topic, and it's going to come back to us.
Yeah, it's going to come
after all
back.
the legal work is done, after we have options. So regardless of how we got here, it will get resolved.
It will get resolved, yes.
through the process.
But
so, any other questions?
Yeah. So, the one question I did have. So on the airfare for 2027, I know there's an awful lot of work that goes into that event and talking about things that are community involvement for this, and those are always well-attended events. Do we know where we're at in the process of that, or
I think it's a budgetary thing. A budget request was put in, and so I'm not sure exactly when that gets answered. Yes or no.
So we'll start the budget process in August, and if it's a request in there, it'll come to us then.
There you go. But yeah, thank you, and I just want to say congrats on being chair. This is your first time as chair presenting before here, so I know you've been there since the beginning, and just appreciate your work and input on all this. So.
Thank you.
All right. We're good? All right. Thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
And we will move on to our sustainability group. Karen Winkler. And Karen, I believe you're the chair. Is that right? Okay.
Good evening, Mayor Moore, Mayor Pro Tem Bell, council members and staff. I am Karen Winkler, and I am the chair of the Sustainability Advisory Board, here to present to you on behalf of SAB. Our agenda follows the same format as the two before us, so we can skip over that. Our 7-member board consists of, besides myself, Vice Chair Ann Walsh, Secretary Mackenzie McClaskey, and members Megan Anders, Art Henderlong, Kathleen Teal, and Will Thomas. I'd like to give a big thank you to Councilors Pesaramelli and Hoback for their ongoing support as our council liaison, and also to Erica Thorley, manager of the Sustainability Division, for her dedication and partnership and ongoing positivity when she joins us each month. And a big shout out to the town clerk's office for their guidance and putting up with my endless many questions on procedures and protocol. Annual work plan. Our annual work plan remains fairly consistent from year to year and in comparison to scope of last year's. Education and outreach remain a key tenet and central to our role. And we accomplish this by either attending or facilitating public engagements, and also helping to subsidize things that fall within the Sustainability Action Plan mission. We have a rather broad interpretation or a broad collection of things that as an advisory board we can focus on. And I'll go through what we are currently focused on. So Arbor and Earth Day, and that is our showcase event. And that really provides a large interactive platform for us to engage with the community. We also are engaged at the Erie Town Fair, numerous farmers markets, Erie cleanup days, and other events as feasible and as we have volunteers for. The majority of our budget, though, is allocated to EcoCycle programming. And that programming brings vital, age-appropriate programs to the students within the Erie feeder system. And that's largely, it's divided up into two, both spring and fall programming for the schools. The programs are on things such as recycling, composting, and there's also water programs, but I believe that that's covered under the Sustainability Division. We are in our second year of the Community Fruit Rescue Harvest Program. And that proved to be popular last year, and we are excited to have that as an ongoing thing for this year. And that expansion into Erie is really a collaborative effort between the Tree Advisory Board and the Sustainability Advisory Board, as there are tenets of that program that really align nicely with both of our missions. And then we continue to make progress towards a multi-year process of achieving pollinator district certification through the Butterfly Pavilion. That is largely headed up by Mackenzie McClaskey. And the annual June pollinator proclamation and promoting the Erie Buzzing Gardens map also helped to showcase to the community the importance of pollinator-friendly and water-wise gardens and conservation. The public engagements really provide a platform too for helping to provide information to residents on the many rebate programs that the town has, that we work in conjunction with town staff to provide information to residents. Highlights. So, again, Arbor and Earth Day, our showcase event was held in April. Attendance was estimated to be approximately 1,000 by the town comms department. Spring cleanup was held in May. Cleanup events average anywhere between 250 and 500 vehicles that come through. It really just depends on whether it was fall or spring. SAB helps to subsidize the recycling of mattresses and tires at those events. The Spring EcoCycle program, which concluded just this past spring, had 21 presentations for roughly 500 participants, and that was in grades K through 2nd. Participating schools included Erie Elementary, Highlands Elementary, Blackrock Elementary, and Meadowlark Pre-K through 8. In April, we collaborated with the Friends of Coal Creek to bring a Firewise landscaping workshop to the community, and that was held at the community library. And then Mackenzie, she's conducted pollinator workshops and pollinator surveys, again, the latter of which goes towards our multi-step process of trying to achieve pollinator district certification. During the January through June timeframe, we had several other opportunities to engage with the community at Compost Giveaway Day, which was held at the Recycling Center, the Erie Town Fair, farmers markets. We were also at Co-Create Erie's garden tour in June. And I think there were approximately 100 participants at the Compost Giveaway Day, which was kind of exciting. Going forward, we will continue through the harvest season, and as we head into fall, we have a couple more summer public engagements at the farmers markets. As we head into the fall, we have the fall EcoCycle school programming, the fall cleanup day, more pollinator site surveys and workshops, and then beginning towards the end of the year and into the first part of January, we are going to be kicking off our task force for the preparation and planning of Arbor and Earth Day. This past year, both TAB and SAB were tasked with taking on a much larger role in coordinating that event. And so we will start that process in January, working with town staff and also with the forestry and sustainability divisions. And that will culminate in the event in April. Then there's spring EcoCycle programming, spring cleanup day, more pollinator workshops, and site surveys. This is my first year preparing this presentation with the new template. So if there's any questions or anything that I didn't include that you were hoping to hear, let me know.
I think I'm just in awe of all the things that are going on related to sustainability in some way. Yeah, it's really good work.
Thank you.
Let me bring it back to council. Questions? Go ahead.
I just had a question on the Co-Create garden tour.
Yeah.
That's one I'm not familiar with, so I'm interested to understand, is it going to be like a community garden or?
So it was a fundraiser, and again, so Co-Create Erie, they are going to be operating out of the makerspace on Schofield Farm. So this, I think, was the second year that they had a fundraiser garden tour, and because people had to come and pick up their maps and everything at a certain location for the tour, which had showcased gardens all over Erie. I think you had to be within a certain distance. And I hope I'm getting this all right because I'm not part of Co-Create Erie. But anyway, we saw an opportunity as a way to be there and engage with the public while they came. And it was very nice of Co-Create Erie to ask us to be there and have room for us to table. So, but it's basically you get a map, you go visit the gardens. I have a couple of friends that either had a garden that was showcased or participated in it, and it was a lot of fun and a neat way to see gardens around the community. So
Thanks a lot.
Sure.
And appreciate you being here tonight.
Thank you.
And all that you do for,
Thanks.
for our sustainability team.
All right. Looks like we're good.
All
Thank
right.
you for coming out.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the Historic Preservation Advisory Board, and Mike Turner is there.
Hi, y'all.
Welcome.
You all know who I am.
But those watching at home may not.
I'm Mike Turner, and I'm the chair of the Historic Preservation Advisory Board. I've been on it, I've been the chair for about 5 years now. We're going to go with the agenda members, highlights, and our work plan for 2027. HPAB has actually had a work plan in place since 2017. I am the chair. DeAndre Arndt. Last night we actually appointed. We had our elections. Nobody else wants it, so I'm the chair again. DeAndrea is the vice chair. Secretary is now Kelsey Bebo. And then you have Rachel Folger, Lara Thomas, Cesar Jimenez, and Alex Wicks, which they have been on it for a couple of years now. And we have and our counselors O'Connor and Anil they attend every meeting. And they give us a lot of input, so I give them a shout out. And Harry is indispensable to us. So, and as well as the town clerk's office holds my feet to the fire. So, I have some great news as of today, as of yesterday. Phase 3 architectural is actually the third phase of the plan that was laid out in 2017. And yesterday we got the word that we are finally funded.
Oh, cool.
So this is a culmination of 2 years of work. There's 25 structures associated with this survey. And then we have to return paperwork by September 1st, and then we get funded.
Very good.
And that happened yesterday, so you.
Good timing here.
Yeah. Historic District, we're still working on that. We are drafting letters and surveys that we would like to send to the residents of Old Town. And I'm not asking for any approval. This is just information. Okay. The railroad history, I'm still working on it. It's we've submitted a grant for this and it got turned down. So we are revising it, and due to the budgeting issues that they're receiving historical funding from federal, we're probably not going to be able to submit this until January 2027. Next slide, please. Now, I'm going to say plan for 2027. The architectural survey will continue to go on. It's probably going to be, we probably won't see the results until late 2027. And one of the requirements is that we have selected a vendor that they've been waiting for a while, ERO, and they're required to come give a presentation when it's over. Continue with that. We displayed a flyer at 2026 explaining what it was, and we have pretty positive feedback from that. Next slide, please. We actually have come up with a plan for tax incentives. We are going to next meeting, I plan on getting formal to present to you guys on what we think that are available tax incentives both from the town of Erie and from the state. We participate in the town fair and Biscuit Day as well as the air fair. I didn't include it on this because it's not going to happen this year, so. And then we're always at Arbor Day, Tree Board. And as you know, when I've talked to the Tree Board before about Linear Park. Yeah, and moving the old train depot that's on the Hobbs property right now over to Linear Park. Quite doesn't have it in the budget yet to have somebody look to determine how much it's going to cost to move the depot. So, and when you move the depot, there's 3 structures involved with it. There's the depot itself. For those of you who don't know where the old depot is, it's 3140 County Road 1. It's across the street from the County Line Lumber. And then there's an outbuilding behind it, and then the outhouse. All 3 structures are part of that old. Next slide, please. And that's it. Got any questions?
All right. Well, good work. I mean, so much going on, like so many of our boards. And let me bring it back to council and see if there's any specific questions. Go ahead.
Thanks, Mike, for the presentation and all the work that you and the rest of the board does. You didn't mention Eagle Mine.
Oh, well, Eagle Mine is, I forgot. Well, Eagle Mine, the grant was submitted by Parks and Rec. Luke did it. Our board, HPAB, we kicked in the 10%. That was $1,100. So I worked with Luke, and I have been working together. We finally, after all these years, are going to survey Eagle Mine.
Nice.
And once it is surveyed, then it will be landmarked. And it's probably, as far as I know, the only existing mine that has not been covered up in miles. I'm talking hundreds of miles. And because if you go out there, you will see all the concrete pads are still there. And it's the only one in this, I mean, in all these counties that still has that.
Nice. You still have the floor.
Thank you. Also, with the Phase 2 architectural survey, how many homes?
25.
Okay, and you were awarded a grant of?
Oh, we got 25,000. We will have to kick in 10,000. The actual bid for the survey through ERO was 35,000. That is why we came to the board and requested 20,000 this year, because we knew this was coming. Well, we hoped it was coming, and so we appreciate the extra money to be able to do that.
I think it's important. Sounds
Yeah, yeah. So that's why we thought maybe we'd get the railroad at this time too, but we didn't.
Yeah.
But so of that 20,000, we will be spending about 12,000 of it.
All right. Go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate all your work over the years.
Oh,
Councilmember O'Connor stole one of my questions there, but interestingly enough, over the 4th of July, I was down in Cripple Creek, and one of the really cool things when you're down there, there's tons of abandoned gold mines down there where there's trailheads that go through there. So I'm excited to see what how we can incorporate the public coming out and seeing, one of the last, intact existing mine areas. So, yeah. One of the questions that back from when I was liaison of HPAB, which I'm trying to think, that must have been 21, 22. We have a lot of things we've collected, and we don't have a museum. We don't have a place to put them. Has there been any updates on what?
Well, that's that's the impetus behind of moving the depot.
Okay, oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Okay. And of course, I kind of tongue-in-cheek said to Harry last night, I says, hey, this new building you're putting up, how about a space for a museum? Because that's why the Miners Tavern sign is still up.
Yeah,
We simply don't have a place to put it.
Right.
Yep. All right, thank you.
All right. Go ahead, Councilmember Bear.
I don't have any questions, but I just want to say congratulations on getting your funding. That's so exciting. I remember you've been working on the railroad history and the phase 2 and 3 for when I was the liaison as well. So congrats. You stuck it out. Well done. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
serving the community.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you next year, but we look forward to all the updates throughout the year. All right. And we'll move on to our last advisory board. It's the Tree Advisory Board. And that is Leanne Villar is coming to talk to the secretary, I believe.
That's correct.
All right. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Leanne Villier, I've had the pleasure to serve on the tree board since 2017. Next slide, please. I'm going to skip over our agenda. It's consistent with previous agendas, so next slide. We have a full board, and we are very lucky to have expertise and experiences from brand new member up to 9 years of tenure. So we have a lot of really great people to draw from. Next slide, please. We have amazing town support, absolutely amazing. We'd like to thank formally our town council liaisons, Emily and Brian. And we'd also like to thank our staff liaison, Tom Reed, and truly the entire Parks Department staff. Without their support, we probably couldn't do most of what we do. So, and then of course, last but not least, the town clerk's office for always keeping us pointed in the right direction. Next slide, please. Our work plan, similar to sustainability, is consistent from previous years. This is our kind of 2026 at a glance, and the tree board really remains focused on education outreach efforts. We start our year with the school outreach that starts in March and really goes through kind of end of April, early May, depending on the requests. Then, of course, there's Arbor and Earth Day that takes place the end of April. We typically host 2 tree walks in the late spring or early summer, and then 2 more in the fall. And then lastly, our new addition, as was mentioned previously, with the fruit rescue that takes place during late summer into fall. And in addition to our calendar, we've been issuing quarterly newsletters, our Tree Talk. Next slide, please. So kicking off the year, our school outreach program, Planting the Future, a classroom tree program. This is really our engagement with our schools and our education. We've been doing this for a long time, and it continues to be a popular program. Our outreach program offers seed planting kits and education materials for first, second, and third grade teachers so that they can create a seed planting lesson. We now have over 20 kits that we can share with classrooms, and we also have the ability to make more if the needs are there. These kits include pots, soil, catalpa seeds, grow boxes with heating mats, educational posters, teacher instructions, and seedling care information. When the seedlings are ready to be taken home, we also provide care guides for parents. That also includes information about the Tree Advisory Board events as well as our rebate programs. And then teachers also have the ability to request in-person seed planting lessons, which are a lot of fun. All the chaos been a lot of fun. And so based on our availability with the tree board as well as Tom Reed's, we get those scheduled. So this year we had 5 schools participate, a total of 21 classrooms, which was over 500 students. Again, a big shout out to Tom Reed and the entire Parks Department staff for their planning, preparation, and coordination that goes into these kits. This starts well in advance of our kickoff, so we couldn't do it without them. Next slide, please. As previously mentioned as well, Arbor Day Earth Day is probably our biggest event and where most of our budget goes each year. This last year it took place on Saturday the 25th at the community park, which has been a great location for us the last few years with the new post pavilion and basketball court. We had 40 exhibitors and 5 food trucks, and as Karen mentioned, we estimate about 1,000 people, which is similar to last year's turnout. Exhibitors included town forester and horticulture staff, town boards, town departments, and tree and sustainability focused local businesses. This event is also known for raffling off some pretty fun prizes, which usually include composting kits, pruning tools, and of course trees. This year we added a prize wheel that was a big hit by both adults and kids alike, and it had a constant line. Next slide, please. During the Arbor Day event, we helped promote the Colorado Tree Coalition's 5th grade poster contest. So this year's theme was Healthy Trees, Healthy Communities. We had 5 schools that participated, and we invite those school winners that are chosen by each school to come to Arbor Day to receive their prize. We had 3 students who joined us this year. It's always fun to see their artwork. Next slide, please. So our tree walks this past spring, they took place on May 8th at the community center and then June 11th at Boneyard Dog Park. These tree walks are a great opportunity and another way that we engage with public outreach and education. And it's a unique opportunity to take a walk with Tom, and no 2 walks are alike. We have 2 more in the fall. September 25th will be in Old Town in partnership with the Historic Preservation Board. So that should be a very interesting one to talk about old trees and the historic aspects. And then lastly, October 30th at the cemetery in honor of Halloween. Next slide. For the second year, we've also contributed part of our budget to support the expansion of the community fruit rescue. This started in the Boulder area and is now helping bring it to Erie. The program harvests surplus urban fruit, primarily from private residential properties. Although apples make up the majority of the harvest, pears, plums, peaches, apricots, chokeberries, grapes, and cherries can also be collected. Harvest takes place usually at the end of the growing season, kind of mid to late summer through fall. And homeowners, renters, or property managers can all reach out and request a harvest for any fruit that their trees are producing above and beyond what they can use. So this past year, 310 pounds of human grade A fruit were collected, and they were shared with the Erie food banks, Community Food Share, and Meals on Wheels. In addition, 125 pounds of animal grade B fruit was collected, and that was shared with Good Life Rescue and Love and Arms Animal Sanctuary. In total, fruit was collected from 5 sites this last year, including, I believe, a property or 2 owned by our mayor. We'd like to thank the Community Rescue for the use of these photos because we failed to take any at our collection. So I pillaged from their website. But, you know, we'll see what our harvest is this year. Obviously, we know this has been a very strange weather year, and so we'll see what the harvest brings. But as long as budget allows, we plan to support this program moving forward. Next slide, please. So our newsletter, we first issued our Tree Talk newsletter back in July of 2024. And since then, we've published quarterly. It's an email newsletter. However, printed newsletters are also available at the community center if anyone wants a hard copy. We have over 760 residents who are currently subscribed. You can go to the Forestry and Horticulture website and click there to subscribe. And there also all of the previous newsletters are archived there as well. The content for these newsletters are created by the Tree Board, but the credit for the graphics and the beautiful layout really goes to Erie staff, and that's led by Tom Reed and Ashley Berger. Next slide, please. So lastly, just a reminder, Erie has some amazing tree programs. There's the residential tree rebate program, which is open to all all property owners once a year. This program allows a $200 credit on your water bill for purchasing a qualified tree from a source of your choice. And then in addition, we have the HOA cost share program and the school and nonprofit cost share program as well. And all of those details are on the website. Next slide. So on behalf of the entire Tree Board, thank you for your time this evening and welcome any questions.
Very good. All right, I'll bring it back to council. Of course.
First,
Councilor O'Connor.
Thank you. Thank you for the years of service and presentation.
You're welcome.
And all the work that you and the Tree Board does. I just wanted to emphasize that I think, the residents should take the opportunity to sign up for the newsletter. You guys put a lot of work into it, and most of it's timeless. So, even issues a year ago are still relevant.
Yeah, go check out the archive.
Check out the archive. And for the tree walks, are both of those at noon?
I believe one may be in the evening. That's a great
I didn't have that in my notes. I had the dates. I didn't have the times. Councilmember Bear.
Well, checking my notes.
I know. Typically they're at noon, although we changed things up in June and did a 6 p.m. walk. So I don't remember.
Okay. Well, those were two of the most popular walks. So I encourage residents to participate and join those walks because they're pretty informative. But anyway, other than that, thank you for all the work you do.
Absolutely.
Other comments?
I'm still looking at my notes. I'll let you know.
All right, while you're looking, I just went out to the fruitrescue.org. Doesn't look like they're accepting requests for harvest yet, or there's a link maybe missing at this point, but I did do it last year, and I'm certainly going to sign up again this year.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll make sure that that's not a broken link.
Yeah, it doesn't appear to be broken. It just doesn't seem to be a place to.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
To do it. All right. 10 seconds.
I didn't write it down.
I guarantee it's in one of our meeting minutes somewhere. We can dig it up. But
yeah. All right. Well, thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes our annual board reports, and so I'll move on to the next agenda item, which is council member reports and announcements. Anybody like to start today?
Don't they go first?
No, they go after us.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Well, it might be a short one. Okay, go ahead,
Sure,
Councilor
I'll
Hobart.
start. As you mentioned, Mayor, we only recently got drawn into the Alpine Primrose traffic concerns. So I appreciate everyone that came out tonight,
appreciate Nathaniel's handout. It's very compelling when town's own data are used to tell a story, and I think this tells a very compelling story that something needs to be done. So if we can have a study session or something with the traffic department people, transportation people, I think that would be a good idea.
Well, as you mentioned that, they are scheduled to come. I think it's the September 1st study session. They're going to be making a presentation about the neighborhood safety program.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right, go ahead.
So this Saturday, not only is Erie Fest this Saturday, but also Colorado 150th year as a state. Both happen on the same day, so that's pretty exciting. And also National Night Out is a week from today. And we don't have council a week from today, which is a nice week off. So that'll be at the Erie Community Park, 6 to 8.
Very good. Good. Councilmember Bear.
Yep, thank you. I wanted to echo gratitude for residents from Vista Ridge coming out to talk about the neighborhood speed management program. I think we knew that's going to be, there'll be a lot of opinions about changing speed limits or including any kind of speed mitigation in residential neighborhoods. So I think that it's a long process. I'm remembering it's a 3-year process, in SMP, because it should have a lot of stakeholdering. So I'll be interested to hear from the transportation team and to hear what maybe, what ideas are and all of that. But thank you to the public for coming out and keep reaching out to us because that helps us as council members. We had Dr. Cog since our last reports, and we had the regional housing strategy, an update on that, which was relevant because we had met with the Planning Commission in the study session. And so as Dr. Cog is rolling out their regional housing strategy, excuse me, in conjunction with the regional housing needs assessment and the action plan, I think there'll be a lot of beneficial and usable information for municipalities coming from that group. And we also got an update on fast tracks, which included some system optimizing that from RTD. So residents are encouraged to plug into the feedback process as they're looking at routes and perhaps cutting service in certain areas and perhaps adding service in other areas. So if that matters to you, please reach out and I can help connect you to that, or the transportation team can, or you can just look on RTD's website. I think their acronym for that is CONNECT, CONNECT. It's a really long acronym, but they found a word for every letter, and someone is so proud of that, And then the Sandlot Baseball League is starting up, so I'm so excited to get to volunteer with them again this year. And I think they're still looking for volunteers, so if you have some time during the week, it just is an injection of joy and so worth your time if you can volunteer for the Sandlot League. And I think that's it for me.
All right. Mayor Pro Tem, anything tonight?
Yeah, thank you. Just I mentioned this earlier, but just want to again mention, it's like I got the date now. I just residents in the air park, and just residents concerned with the airport, I recommend watching the July 16th meeting where we kind of had our follow-up on the fee study. So I think there's some information that's very helpful, and we realized that the initial communication was there was some miscommunication, and so I think we cleared that up for the most part at the last meeting. Also, just want to say in general, just around airport stuff, I realized we had some comments from the public in public comment today. There's some things going around in the area. Boulder just voted that they're continuing operation of their airport. They did make a change as far as the approval of their FAA grants fund, but that airport will continue to be open. Also in Longmont, they had a town hall meeting about noise abatement programs, and there's a good article in the Colorado Hometown Weekly just to kind of give insight to they had their they hired an airport attorney, and there are some legal challenges with as far as what we can do. The FAA largely controls what happens with air traffic on here. So again, just some things going on in the public, and just encourage everyone to stay informed and please come to our meetings. We're not, I mean, mostly we're talking about the economic development of the airport. We're not necessarily talking about air traffic patterns. It's kind of outside the scope of what that board does, but we always encourage the public to come out. And I did want to just say one thing quick. And unfortunately, we've had just a slew of recent tragedies in our community, and I just wanted to bring up something for Sarah and Dane Strobel, their family. They've been very involved in the Erie community. Their son Levi was killed in a lightning strike over the weekend. They were on a hiking trip up in Mount Blue Sky. His younger brother Jace was also injured, brought to the ICU. From what I've currently heard, that he is doing better, and so we continue to pray for Jace and his recovery. But just want to keep the community, their friends and family. Obviously, a lot of kids involved with them in youth group and Erie High School, and a lot of folks remember last year we had Max Monroe, who all had an equal impact on kids in our community. So this is something that a lot of young people are struggling with. There was a gathering service last night at Calvary Church, and I believe there's one tomorrow night as well. I believe it starts at 6. So again, if you're in the youth in the community and you're struggling with this, just encourage you to go to that. But yeah,
All right, appreciate you bringing that up. Councilmember O'Connor.
Thank you. I just wanted to also thank the residents of Vista Ridge and those who live on Alpine and Primrose for coming out and speaking tonight about this traffic and volume issue. And I look forward to hearing what the transportation department's input or feedback would be on this idea that's outside of the speed management program, and go from there. I mean, I think it's good to hear all different types of ideas to try to solve this problem. So just thank you to those residents for coming out tonight.
All right. We'll go over to our...
One more thing real quick.
Yep, go ahead,
Councilmember Bear's announcement about Sandlot reminded me. Congratulations to the Coal Creek Red Lafayette 12 and under Little League team. They won the Colorado State title, and they're on their way to San Bernardino for the Mountain Region to try to make it to Williamsport in the Little League World Series, and they have Erie players.
Nice.
Wow, awesome.
All right, cool. All right, I'll go over to our acting town manager.
Just a reminder, there's no meeting next week, as Councilmember Mortellaro said. And we seem to have some calendaring issues and some confusing calendars. A couple of you have said so. Don't be surprised if you see a mass deletion of a bunch of things, and we're going to re-add them and try and clean that up for you. So,
And to that point, the 18th, we do have a study session, but at least for me, there's no calendar invite at the moment. And that is the first budget.
the budget meeting, and all of the directors and staff will be here, so we encourage you to come.
Yes.
Otherwise, we're talking to ourselves.
All right, and we'll go to our town attorney. Anything tonight?
Nothing from me, thank you.
All right. With that, I'll adjourn the meeting.